It's just been a grind, kind of. I think on paper we clearly have one of the best teams in the world, and I think that with the structure we've kind of had for the past 2 years, like there's no reason to believe that we can't bring home trophies next year. People, I think, will look at it as like just an immediate skill upgrade, but to be quite honest about it, like they just fit the culture that we're trying to set. They have the right vibe, they have the right attitude.
When we first joined Fnatic, the name had such a kind of legacy behind it. They had legends in League of Legends. I kind of wanted our team to be the next legends for Valorant. Hello, my name is Jake, also known as Boaster, and I'm the IGL of Fnatic. Us as a team, we'd want to be in an organization that we can represent and be a part of the best in Valorant. So I like being that kind of team that sets the bar and sets the standards.
I think there's going to be quite a lot of pressure on us because we have built a team that is ridiculously good, to the point of like, some people be like, if they don't win a trophy, then they're rubbish kind of thing.
There's definitely a lot of competition. Now, I'm not going to go out there and say Fnatic are the best, like we've got nothing to worry about, because that's not really kind of how we roll. We kind of respect and don't underestimate all these teams. However, I will say that Fnatic is probably going to look their strongest that they ever have in the year coming up. They're going to be coming guns blazing at you anyway, so hopefully they got to be ready.
We're all very happy to just make ourselves be idiots and have fun, and it does certainly help that Boaster's able to just be a bit of a monkey now and again though. We know what the fans want, and we know they're here to be entertained, so like, why not just let them have that a little bit?
For our team, one of the biggest things is to go to each tournament and have no regrets. Now that we are professional players and people look up to us, it's just a way of kind of getting our confidence levels up out of the game instead of just in the game. As long as we don't lose motivation and our work ethic, we should be able to use all of that force and carry us across the finish line and hopefully lift 1, 2, or 3. No, that's too much. 1 or 2 1 is enough, to be fair, for next year, but 2 would be nice, 3 would be absolutely flabbergasted. But yeah, I want to lift a trophy next year. To all the people watching, Fnatic are going to be coming, guns blazing. You're not going to know what to do with your life or what to do with the screen. You're going to be punching screens because we're going to be taking down your teams. Oh my goodness, I just made a rhyme and it's going to be seamlessly going... what am I saying? Yeah, you know what to expect. It's Fnatic. Hopefully we win. Hopefully we don't choke. Let's go. New team, new roster, 2023. I haven't been going to the gym. Yeah.
Oh. He is not the man to be dropping a mixtape anytime soon, bless him. Even with that backing track, he got a couple of rhymes in there, but he crumbled when it really mattered.
No, I believe in him. I believe in him. I think he was put on the spot. If you ever doubt the raps of Boaster, you just need to follow him on Twitter. When it's a little bit more scripted, he'll nail it every single time.
Used to be a big-time performer and still is, of course. You hear most what they were saying there as well is, you know, to a level, never believe that it's done and dusted, that you're going to win everything you walk into this year. We've seen so many teams across, I think, every sport in history win something big and then just think, oh, it's fine. We're the best in the world. No one can stop us. And suddenly they fall off form. They start doubting themselves and they completely fall off. But I think, like everyone knows about Fnatic, you've won Lock-in. That's a big one to win. But the one everyone's eyeing up, no doubt, is Champions towards the back end of the year. Yep. That is the trophy they need to lift to complete, dare I say that famous European word of a dynasty?
No, we don't like that word. Maybe legacy is another one.
I feel like League of Legends kind of buried this for us. You know, G2 felt the curse more than most, and now it's all about Fnatic.
Yeah, I think the main thing as well for them, though, is that I actually almost feel like it'll be relief. They've been a team since pretty much the very first international event that people were expecting to win something. They got 3-0'd in that first final, and the story was that it all came back around for Lock-in. I almost feel like, although there'll still be pressure, of course, expectations, no doubt, they are a team that have now got over that hurdle. They can win events, and they are definitely the favorite when it comes to this matchup.
All right, well, we are done mucking around and waiting. The first map between Team Liquid and Fnatic starts here in this best of 3. Lotus, Haven, and Fracture to see us all the way through, of course. Fracture only required if we get all the way to 3. I think before, if you had a few expectations of given the way this draft has gone, that Fnatic might just 2-0 here, but Liquid, as we know, have got a point to prove.
Yeah, for sure. And they've got a lot of fire and flair alongside them as well. So Fnatic definitely have to be careful. An aggressive start over towards that A site, taking that early map control, and you can see instantaneously Safe already back on their rotation. Looking to get back into spot over on the other side of the map. The patience of Fnatic is almost, okay, you can challenge for that early map control, but that doesn't... We're not going to go back for it.
At this point, it's only the Sky left on this side of the map as well. Yampi may be in for a bit of a rude awakening. Does, of course, have a little bit of stall potential with the dog and the bird to come over the top if so required. Bring out the helmet, the whole menagerie, and see if you can hold them back. But with that read coming in, they know that it's gone off, and now that's when Fnatic look to try and move their way in. They've got themselves marching on fours, although are on the other side of this smoke.
It does seem like Liquid are fairly convinced this is still going to be a C hit. Even though that control has been reclaimed, the flash from Yampi is going to give him the information that there are still players here, but he is yet to garner any support from a teammate. And now spotting that deep control, well, you can already see Safe running his little legs back over.
3 of them just charging on over. I'm curious to know if the Omen sticks close to them, watches the baby door here, because up mid there is a potential walking coming in from the Astra too. And here we go. This is the rotate I was on about. Doubles back pretty quickly here, and maybe able to get in just in time, but it's already been smoked off. Fnatic have got B control. Here we go with this plank coming down, and we have seen this CAB rotate so many times on this map since the start of the stage.
Oh, that's not the start they were hoping for, but a decent trade from Zolcast. Will survive on his last legs. 13 HP available to him once he gets back out of that Viper screen. It's dangerous as well, especially with Leo holding that frenzy and Boaster still lurking around the back lines. Leo getting aggressive, leaving just 2 remain.
Boaster's just been the anti-player this round, whether his team or not, he is, and he's made it count. Redgar finding one back the other way, but it's a 3 versus 2 with a spike still to be defused. Feels like Fnatic have all the control they need now. Boaster comes in for the active engagement, gonna find Nats, and it's an easy closeout from Chronicle 2. Great first round for Fnatic. Brilliant flanking play coming out from Boaster.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do throughout this game, is not only have the lurk of Alpha initially to try and catch off those rotations from A, but then also have the secondary lurk. Like, Boaster was playing very passive, just basically lurking off of his utility, and you see towards the end, paint shells from Durka held late into the round, Gravwell used after that. There was little to no time for Liquid to do anything, and even then there were still 3 players to stand behind. They have already been a master of afterplants in the past, and by the looks of it, they're going to be that again.
I kind of call him the anti-player throughout, because when we saw all of Fnatic moving over towards A site, you had Boaster looking his way to work through mid and catch any potential rotators coming in through the B site itself. They'd already gone past, but then once they rotated themselves in towards B, he moved over towards A. So it was just good balancing around, maintaining a similar level of distance between both sites, between himself and the rest of his team, but still enough to make an impact, as we saw in the close towards that round. So Fnatic starting out pretty slow in that first round, just kind of feeling out exactly where the push is coming through, and here kind of baiting Liquid forward. They did not sprint forward for the orb as they did in the previous round, and Liquid think, okay, maybe it's safe to take. Turns out it's absolutely not.
Yeah, Fnatic are being very methodical. Like, even using nano swarms to clear the close to rubble. Just having these crossfire setups, so any double swings are not going to allow for any real level of damage. And with 2 kills now on the A side of the map, they basically have it for free. Nat's the only one here, and the man has a classic.
And just making great use of the range as well, right? Holding back, not looking to get aggressive and push forward too fast and take a risk running into a Sheriff, for example. Going to sit here straight on top of the name, mind you. Nat's down to very, very low HP at this point. As Fnatic have control of the site, we'll find one, but immediately Chronicle is there for the trade. Down goes the spike. It's just 1 left alive for Redgar. 2-0 for Fnatic, pretty much guaranteed, unless there is a miraculous clutch coming out here.
But the thing is, any kills from this point onwards are actual damage. Like, there was 1 player who had a pistol, that was Leo. He's retrieved the gun. Anybody else who dies, that will drop a weapon on the dirt, and there you go. Alpha gonna fall.
Okay.
Redgar as well with another through the wall. That is decent damage for a round that looked like it was going to be almost for free for Fnatic. Liquid make it costly.
Well, we knew we had to find those headshot kills coming in with the Sheriff, talking about how much of a beast it can be in these 2nd and 3rd rounds, depending on where the economy sits. And as you say, those 2 kills in the close, definitely inflicting some unnecessary damage on the side of Fnatic, maybe getting a little bit relaxed there in the close. Do find the close out regardless.
Chronicle, okay, so going into the Logitech G power-up round, Chronicle has bought himself an Odin, and is he about to pre-fire spam where Safe is going to push up? This could be one of the nastiest things I've ever seen, and well, Safe bypasses it. Still taking a little bit of damage on the way back through, but this is almost a direct counter to what is being attempted on the other side.
And they're trying to shoot back as well, which is the real risk that he's running here as well. I mean, a Guardian, sure, versus a Nodin, not really one you want to bring into it, but it's still the point of threat. It did just go over his left shoulder earlier as well, so it was dangerously close to connecting a few more bullets and potentially netting an early kill. But what I love about this is it suppresses the side of Liquid. They can't push up and try and push deep here and force them away from A. They kind of have to sit quite passively, as you're seeing out of the sky really far back. This is the same style of hold that we saw from Liquid back in round 1, a very heavy stack over towards C, expecting that Fnatic will commit towards that.
Yeah, it's the same again as well from Fnatic, though. It's like, okay, you have gone for that early aggression. We're now going to use our utility to clear all of that out, make sure there's not so many risks, and just basically deny any of those aggressive spots that you want to take, which again, when you're playing a Neon, is something you desperately need to be doing.
It's the constant orbs as well. They've already got 2 or 3 this round. They've denied the A1 away so far because of the Odin. They're looking for a third. You know, 3 orbs is nothing to turn your nose up at. Really good control so far from Fnatic of the map. Just collecting the resources and then looking to make a push happen. This time it does look to be into C.
Viper util denying them. 20 seconds left on the clock. Oh, Nats goes down, but again, you're right. They're going to double back in towards this B side. Redgar has the read. Waiting on the cross, watching for anybody make that push through, and he peeks in and just gets domed. A clean take in towards the site. There is nothing that Liquid can do in this position. Very, very easy from Fnatic, and even with a late rotation, Liquid could do nothing.
Not a full buy coming into the round either. We did saw the Guardians, for example. It just wasn't fully stacked up and ready to deal with this Fnatic team. But I think even outside of that, even had all things been equal, you still would have put Fnatic down as the winners. Again, the control of all 3 orbs, the way they slowly move their way through and then double back on towards B. It feels like the classic go-to play on the attacking half of Lotus is to choose the C or the A, and if you see enough defensive utility committed towards holding you back, you force your way straight across into B because the rotate is so damn quick.
Yeah, I think this next round is where we might have to see Liquid properly challenge for that map control, because again, they've been taking it very early. We've seen that in multiple rounds, A site being fought for just to try and hold that in the early stages of the round, but then after not spotting anything, they give it up. Now, Fnatic have been very content to go, okay, we'll just wait until maybe a little bit after the minute mark, and then we're just going to start taking that control a bit later. Now, it does mean that maybe time could become a factor later on, but they've done very well at just finding those openers, and then whenever the rotation is coming from Liquid, they go back towards that B side.
It's a few really awkward rounds, because even here, they're not going to be able to get anything near a buy coming out.
That was their full buy in the last, even though it had pieces missing.
That's what I'm going to say. Even with it being an air quotes full buy round, it still wasn't a full buy, right? And that's the danger. You know, yesterday, I think most of the games that we cast 4 rounds in, we saw the timeouts coming through to get the reset, energy back online, and often it wouldn't work, but you start asking that question already. Do Liquid need a little bit of a breather here? I like it.
I love how Chronicle's job has just become spam the wall at the beginning of the round and try and stop them taking that control.
Very reminiscent of Ascent.
He's still going to push up on this. Now, obviously, if Chronicle continues to just spam this wall, there's a chance that he'll go down. Does have a little bit of support from Leo, and again, these orbs are just being battled for across the map. Nice shot from Redgar. I think the majority of kills so far that Liquid have been him with the Sheriff.
Yeah. And really, when that share only contributing, you know, factor, I guess, it starts asking questions about where the rest will come from. Sapia trying to get nice and close, Guardian in hand. The only buy that they actually had at the start of this round really was that rifle, of course, outside of 3 Sheriffs as we saw previously. It's not enough to establish full control, but Fnatic acknowledging, okay, it's not really worth giving up 2 or 3 players here on the push for an orb when we know we're already down 1 man. So their goal, it appears to be to rotate over towards A here. May even try and make a hit going through tree. Door is popped out. More of a bait than anything else, and may try to go instead via main.
Well, they've got the lockdown. That's the thing. If they want to try and make this that little bit safer, they can throw the lockdown in. Timing for Yumpy again. They're going to be caught out as they head into the B site. Now the lockdown put into play. They have a showstopper if they need it as well. Safe's just gone past.
Right.
He's just gone past. I don't think they even realize, but the steps are eventually going to be heard by Durka, realizing they're still here, and then he swings off the back of that lockdown and just takes off both heads.
There he is himself. The king awakens for the first time on this day from his slumber, and even in the 4 versus 5, sure, they had the rifle advantage, but again, fantastic macro play, baiting all of Liquid over towards
kills. So it actually is just, it's just Redgar so far. It's only been a little bit The damage economy on the side of Fnatic is great, even though they're buying an Odin in on the attack side, which is their top player, by the way. I will be enjoying the fact if he ends up with a Viper's Pit. Okay, they've actually swapped the gun over, maybe for that exact reason. Alpha looks a little bit more shaky, I'll be honest. When I see Chronicle doing that, it looks like sort of clean, accurate, whereas I want to see Alpha's face and see if he was cackling while he was doing that.
No, he's pretty damn serious. Just holding it down, doing the job of a Sentinel too. I mean, the fact that he's got such powerful lockdown here on the one side means that A, for all intents and purposes, is off limits to the side of Liquid. He's like, yeah, this gun's crap, man. Get me out. Get me back on the rifle. But clearly it's for a reason, as every single player is starting to walk their way forwards here. Maybe there's a read into the fact the Odin has stopped firing though, and Liquid should maybe start to expect this, because yet again, they have 3 players stacked up on C.
But this time they're pushing. This is a different ball game altogether. The last few rounds, they've been passive. The Tiger also finding them early, although after them stunning up the players, they're going to rotate a little bit more safely instead and actually double up into the B site, maybe? No, they're going to go all the way back around to A. If this ends up on the B site again, I think we have problems. Instead, though, an easy entry off the showstopper. It'll be free for Fnatic.
This is when they pulled the play around last time and went in towards B, which is why we've got Redgar holding on B this time, expecting the B hit to come through. The difference this time is Fnatic have read that super well, anticipating the response coming out of Liquid, and have gone in towards A. Durka playing at the bottom of the rope here, finds himself one. Sadly flashed out for a couple of seconds, but Leo going to pick up the pieces to keep things going.
Yeah, and they're being shut down from all angles. Nat's already making the decision to try and save, but he's going to be hunted down as well. Durka across the board, 5-0. Fnatic decimating Liquid at the moment, and this is their map choice.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
They wanted to play this one.
A timeout has to come in. There's a lot of hard places to take Fnatic to. Really, Pearl feels like the only place you might have some success at this stage, and as we know, it's a Fnatic perma ban. There's a reason for that. And they're very grateful of the fact they get that ban. But those first 5 rounds, it has been like Fnatic playing with a dog toy. They've just been throwing them around the map, leading them astray, oftentimes as well. And it almost feels like they have the perfect read on what the movements from Liquid are going to be. Every time they move towards A, that's when Liquid rotate over, they split in towards B. When we see the C hit coming in, they fast rotate in towards B again. B is kind of that get out of jail free card when you realize there's too much being invested in A. And really that 5th round was the first time that we saw a response from Liquid. Redgar, as I mentioned, stuck around, holding the other side of Baby Door, expected to see a push to come in. But Fnatic, it was kind of a double bluff, just hard committed in towards the A site.
Yeah, I think I actually want to see them properly try and take some of that map control away. Because there was a moment in the previous round where it looked like they were going to push C, try and been on an island. Like, he's isolated over on that A side of the map every single time, and he's getting them that information, but there never seems to be any support in time for him to actually be able to do anything. So I think, again, either you have to push up on A, try and hold on to that map control, which has been difficult. Fnatic have been very methodical at clearing out those angles, or just take something away. Because if you give Fnatic the whole map to execute, well, you might as well DC from the server now and move on to the next one.
That's the way it's feeling, and I think it tells the story when you haven't really seen or felt the presence of a single player on the other side who's really going for a spray down, and Soulcast has to dip away. Thankfully, the heal coming out of the sky going to top him back up again, but of course, that armor, not recoverable.
I love the fact that their plan in this round is, I'm going to buy a Guardian, and I'm just going to try and wallbang him back. I want to point out, Chronicle took a total of 0 damage while you were trying to counter that, so maybe not the greatest plan ever. Alpha as well, whichever it was playing with that Odin, didn't even take a point.
A little bit of pressure in towards C, and the problem is I know that they want to go aggressive. Look towards mid, for example. There's 2 of them trying to push their way through. But the thing is, Fnatic have backed away. Every time there has been pressure towards an orb, almost like, you know, Liquid want to fight them off the orb, Fnatic are like, okay, then we'll just rotate somewhere else. We don't mind giving up the orb because of how fast we're rotating through these rounds. And here we go on a push again. Soulcast maybe kicking himself a little bit that he didn't get a single kill there. But reminder once more, we have got Liquid playing in an eco.
Yeah, not the greatest weaponry. They're going to know there's a man on site again, but it's just a ruse. It's just a ruse being sold. He's trying to bait them in that he's already gone. Nice shot from Yumpy, but the rest of the team have gone. And look where they've gone. An empty C site awaits them. They're going to use the Nightfall, which will tell them everything is completely clear, and Afterplant almost guaranteed. And as you mentioned, some of the weaponry weaker, they've at least retrieved the rifle.
Yes, they had the second Guardian rotating back over as well, and they're going to even commit the ult here as well. A little bit of respect being shown to Liquid that they have got some weaponry on side that needs to be dealt with. That Viper's pit now being deployed across bomb, across sites itself. Looking good.
Oh, the turret placed behind. Is it actually going to spot Yumpy?
No way.
It's not. He's going to get
Open the
past
lava.
it. He still manages to get a kill, and that's huge. They have to clear him out. He might get caught in the Tiger. We're still using it for a second, but they start to lose the battles. In fact, all of them fall. Yumpy's the only one remaining. It looked like there was a chance in this round for Liquid, but again, Fnatic recover.
Just so well played as well. Had each other's back, rotating round throughout the fight, and for a second, maybe look, a couple of kills are coming in. Though as we saw, slipping past that turret only really guaranteed the one. The other three players all sat inside of the Viper's pit. Just gets everything going against him. And this is that immense amount of damage that we saw.
Underneath the bullets.
It's unreal. Looks unbothered.
I just like it, but I am spamming.
I'm out of here.
There are still some Liquid fans in the crowd. Says that they can get behind the boys in when they are down 6-0. Now again, pretty aggressive control coming in towards Mount here, trying to get hold of the orb, which it looks like Boast is going to pick up. And that's a pretty early committal by Nats. I mean, we've seen Fnatic play really the first 40 seconds of most of these rounds, just dancing around spawn, deciding where to go, teasing in towards us where they can. It's a double swing coming on through. It's good mid-control established, but immediately it is snatched back by Fnatic.
Yeah, and even Safe going down to 5 HP. I imagine he's going to try and rotate back around and get Yumpy to heal him up at least a bit. So it won't be the end of the world. First time we've kind of seen an early trade go in their favor. They've been caught off quite a bit. Yumpy able to go around the corner. That's a real support player right there. He's willing to go the extra mile to try and help out his team.
These guys that just won't wait for me to heal them, all they want to do is charge off again. That nurse and children, but for now they still have the chance to fight things through in this 4 versus 4. For the first time it feels in a long time, Liquid are kind of fully geared here and able to contest into players on Fnatic's side.
And the thing is, it's just being made awkward. All that utility, the Viper screen locking out any real angles. Now they're going to go pushing back through a stun up onto Soulcast. He's completely stuck in the mud here, pushed through, and timing's not going to be the best. He at least wins that initial battle, but the trade is immediate.
Boast is there ready, and Safe's now going to poke his head through and hope for the very best. Elsewhere, it's Yumpy coming up against Chronicle. These two not realizing they're either side of this sound and bullet blocking screen. No one yet daring to cross. Chronicle bringing down Yumpy, changing responsibilities with Boaster, who was holding this angle previously back in the early game. But a 3 versus 2, and it feels once again that Fnatic will not be stopped.
And they've managed to make their way into the site. Again, just trying to bait out any utility that they can, and pinged up by Leo. He's just going to double up to close the round. 7-0. And I like what you mentioned, the fact that they've now swapped that up between 3 different players.
Yeah,
Alpha has been left
too,
behind as well. So it's like every single time, like you're going to be commenting, okay, like Boaster's here, Boaster's on the side, so there's no longer this lag, there's no longer, and you can see Yumpy how long he took. He's like clearing everything, and even still he gets caught the second he tries to cross back into the site. There's no safe rotations right now, and more worryingly, I hate to say it, safe either. 0 and 6. We mentioned this sort of duelist battle. Right now, he hasn't even entered the server yet.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, Durka being at 9 and 3, that +6 that he's got, could every single one be unsafe? Obviously it isn't, but that's the gap being established between these two players right now. We have got to see Safe come online, but I look back to Kellogg's yesterday and think about how well he was playing on the Neon, the space that he was creating on this map, and you start to get a little bit of hope for Liquid after the half, but you've got to get through this half first. Durka's straight in, straight into spot. Finds Yumpy as well, clearly expecting something else, but it's simply not to come. He just keeps on marching through, picks up 2. Who needs an ultimate?
I think Chronicle blinded, just trying for the spam. Safe, there he goes, finally turns up into the server. Looking to try and take this one on his own. It's left all onto Alpha. He's gone for this rotation back through mid. I don't think they have any idea where he is. Soulcast finally starting to realize it's a second crazy shot out from Alpha. The turret, but no! And he finally gets the kill! What is that from Alpha?
How on earth do you let that one happen? Just when it looked like Liquid was stepping back from the precipice, Alpha steps up and gives them a mighty "this is Fnatic" and boots them into the pit. This second kill Unbelievable. Just a snap onto the head here. Oh my God. You pay good money for a shot like that.
Oh my.
That is unreal. We haven't even had to see the clutch factor coming out of Fnatic yet in this game because they've dominated the macro. But now you're even seeing it when all the chips are down. What a round.
Well, that's the thing, and on the desk we had earlier, Sue was saying they haven't had much time to practice with Alpha. I'm going to tell you for free, you can't teach that. You just can't teach that.
No, you cannot.
That's why you wanted this man back in the roster at any means necessary. And that's the thing, that will break Liquid. You finally had a round. You had a round guaranteed. A 1v3. For the second couple of kills, you even knew where the man was.
Yeah. And he was putting a turret down in front of him as well. And, oh, sheer frustration. Safe, though, has woken up. We saw him get 2 kills in the previous round. He started this one out onto his counterpart in Dirk. We spoke about needing to get this trade back and start seeing things come online. It has slowly woken up. Nice to Dio. You're really enjoying this, aren't you?
Yeah, it's just the amount that they're attempting to do with this gun. Is he going to get caught? No, okay. I thought Redguard might just swing him after going for the reload. Again.
Well, there's 2 of them, but there is the bot on the floor as well, which will give everything away.
Playing into the late round.
30 seconds
It's something
left.
Fnatic has done regularly. The rotation this time looking like it's right, but the problem is those ults still favoring Fnatic. They've got a lockdown if they need it again. They catch the rotations. 3 players within this site, but they are being picked apart one by one. It's left on to Nats, and there is no clutch to be had for Liquid. 9-0.
Really half expected a big bait to come there out of Fnatic once they put the Fade ult across site to turn straight on towards B and see what can be retrieved from there. What a 9 rounds we've had. I know it's been one-sided, and sometimes one-sided games can be so boring, but when you're seeing Fnatic pull things off with such finesse, it's a joy to watch.
That's the thing. This is why we talk about them as the best team in the world. Like, they are methodical to the nth degree. They can take their time, go down to the last 30, 40 seconds and make it look like they had the full minute and a half left on the clock. Like, they are not stressing in any of these scenarios. The trades have been sublime. There's not a player missing within the server. Lurking as well has just been off the charts. The amount of times they could just seamlessly swap someone out and go, okay, now you're lurking behind, now you're waiting behind. And then even just the small pieces like the Odin, just to counter any aggression, like anything Liquid are trying to do to just stop them having all the control and all the decisions they could ever want, just gets denied by a man spamming a wall with an Odin. It's just rough for Liquid. And that was my main worry. They've come into this map, they've changed nothing. So in other words, they've given Boaster and Mini every single tool they could ever need to counter this composition. And honestly, for the most part, I don't think they've needed to counter that much. They've not been challenged throughout the server, but they are making things look very, very easy. And I think
I need to get us all ready.
Things are going if this one turns into a 13-0, what possibly could be awaiting them when it comes to Haven.
yeah,
As we know, Fnatic map pick, second favourite map they've got in their whole pool. It just looks brutal, and Fractured does look like a very distant dream at this time. Not just for us as viewers, but most definitely for Team Liquid. Timeout over. That's the only breather that Team Liquid are now allowed. Everything else is a straight slog all the way up to the half. And this could be a very bruising 3 rounds, not just for the players, but for their egos as well.
yeah, and that's the rough thing. This has been built up as a grudge match, but rightly so. Rightly so. These were going into the year the 2 super teams, the organizations that spent the big bucks to get the best, the cream of the crop, took them from all over to try and build these rosters. Fanatics passing with flying colors. Like, they have surpassed everything that ever could have been wanted.
really trying to make a go of it here as well. And I love how they kept on making use of the Omen smoke here as well, just to give them that kind of like feet level height. If someone does try and step forward, you're absolutely screwed. You're going to get guided down as soon as you try and step anywhere near that Omen as it chugs away. Here rotating instead over towards B. Really, if nothing else, maintaining control of the orb, so when Fnatic do want to commit numbers and utility to get control of them, as you're going to see now.
I like this from Liquid. Finally, like having some control. Like having that deep A control, they use the shadow step to get them into position. They also had safe there initially in case they challenge.
Oh, what is this? Chronicle sees one man. There's going to be a second stepping out. No, there isn't. Backs away just about in time, and here comes that lockdown. The beauty here as well is that he can still hold the angle with the Oni, because they're going to get forced either on towards Sight or into his waiting arms. One tries to go for the challenge in the sky, but backs away immediately. Sight control very much established here for the side of Fnatic as they keep on marching through. And Redguard does finally shut down that pesky Odin, but Sight control has been lost. Oh, Durka in backside, they went a little bit too deep there.
Oh, they're starting to clear them out. Good work from Yumpy. Only one man watching that flank now. It's left on to Alpha. TP across. He's going to hear it. He's going to expect it. And he's spaced out both! Again, every time there's a chance, this man just puts a spanner in the works. It is clear to see why Fnatic have missed him. And now they can go into that filthy afterplan. Just sat back waiting in their crossfire. Anybody taps that spike, they've got the peak. Good flash. And this time, they managed to decimate Alpha. Yeah, he's not clutching out this one. And Team Liquid, they finally have a round.
We can breathe a collective sigh of relief. I imagine the only danger looking at it is that you aren't going to have many of their players coming into the next round on full buys. Whereas a Fnatic, they had a maxed out, I believe one of the players was completely maxed out on 9k credits. Was it Leo? No. Boaster was sat on 9k credits.
I think Alpha was as well.
They have got plenty of cash to make sure they can just go back into another full buy, whereas Liquid don't have that same pleasure, I don't believe.
They're not in a bad spot. Low shields on a few players, but the thing is, most teams are doing that anyway. Utility seems to be maxed. But again, I like the adaptation, just like allowing them to have a little bit more space over onto the A site. Quick flank as well, that's not something they've had. They haven't been able to flank Fnatic at all. They've always been caught on the rotation. And again, we're going to see the same push-up. Now, no Odin this time. It has been removed, maybe because Chronicle got killed while trying to spray someone down with it. He's decided, you know what? I'm going to stick my rifle this time.
Are they going to push back for this mound control? Because that seems to have been their primary focus when it comes to trying to get control of the orb. Collecting that for the team, again, keeping padding things out. That seems to have been where they've started the vast majority of these rounds. But here, just leaving Boast to hold it himself, expecting a push round to come in from Liquid when they realise that the orb has not been taken. It feels for most of Fnatic, even without that Odin, the A is going to be their entry point.
Yeah, I think not wanting this control to be kept. Redgar up above, it's something that is quite a common position. But while they start to pressure onto Redgar, the rest of the team, or at least in the form of Safe, start to push up. The Seekers is going to give them that information as well. So it's a good read once again. And Boaster going down, that's a huge difference maker. Oh, yeah. They don't have that flank anymore, but they do get the opener.
Just thought for a second there he might be cheeky enough to find one or two. Straight in towards the back of the site goes Durka as well, propelled on forward. They've got a bit of a crossfire coming in, one in towards Tree. Durka coming in from the side, and they are absolutely crushing them where they stand. 2 players left to face against the onslaught of these 4 Fnatic players.
The flank from Safe just a little bit further behind, and Alpha again is going to catch him on that rotation. Nats, we definitely haven't seen the best of him so far, but unfortunately that's not going to come up here either. 10-1, a blip on the radar of Fnatic. And even though this round started off pretty decently with managing to close out some of those aggressive players, these executes onto the A site, the clinical nature of Fnatic just being able to clear out these spots with too much trouble at all. I also want to give some credit over to Leo as well. I think every time he's been using a haunt in onto the site, it seems to just catch 2 or 3 players, and they're always revealed for Durka. And if Durka has the info, Durka's getting the kill.
They've used it quite intelligently in a couple of these rounds, putting it in behind walls or behind smokes as well to try and feed that information where it's best required. And that's really meant the other side has been able largely to deal with it, including the pressure coming in from players like Durka, who, as you say, are just charging in to play off the back of that util. Just really rapid aggression where you're being choked out by the information, but also by the players pushing on their way through. I love Safe, by the way. Not bothered with any armor, has given up on trying to take a rifle, up on side.
Let's be real, at this point, try whatever you can.
Absolutely. Clearly the normal stuff isn't working, so let's go a little bit loopy.
Oh, he's definitely someone who has donned the op and sniper in other games for quite a time, so no doubt that he can make it work. We'll get the opener, but it's an instant trade onto Redgar. Not the greatest of starts, but hey, at least bringing things back slightly more even with the weaponry they have on other players.
I mean, Red Guard was a sacrificial lamb. Someone had to die there for him to be able to get away with it. Out comes the ultimate as well from Bosch as they charge on through. No one to decide though. Oh, Natsul's completely the wrong way. Durka turns for another, gets himself 2 charges back already. Not that it matters, as this round is pretty much done and dusted. Save can try all he likes, but that Viper Pit again being pulled out at just the right time.
In this post plant, I don't know how they stand a chance. Durka so aggressively plays, especially with a Viper's Pit down, you're not going to expect him to be here. They are looking to clear those angles. Actually, the flash is perfect. That's at least the start. Now, having an operator going into a Viper's Pit, that's not going to help you. There needs to be a gun found, and Safe has found it. But there's so much left to do.
TY Durka gives the rifle on side and at least giving a little bit of renewed chance here in the 2v3, but that time waits for no one. It is ticking on down. Yampi finds one. Can he perk into a second as well? No, that he can't. It's back the other way. Safe's going to try what he wants. Taps one, but time is pretty much done here. Doesn't matter if he finds the kill. He will not collect it anyway. Chronicle with the close. An 11-1 half of Fnatic as they move over to the defense.
Switching sides.
Well, that's about as brutal as it could possibly get. A map hit coming in for Liquid. They get 1 round in the first half. I just hope they have something prepared when it comes to the next one. And even if they do, if they don't win the pistol, Des, they're going to have to go into Haven and try and reverse sweep.
Just go into Haven against Fnatic and just reverse sweep it.
Yeah, just casual.
Mate, you should be a coach. Like, have you ever thought about applying?
Just win. That's what I've heard before.
Just win forehead is the only real way I can summarize it. Now, we have, of course, got our half-time. We're going to go to a very special interview with Boaster talking to an ex-teammate.
Not quite Boaster just yet, Des, maybe after the match, but I am joined by Special, a professional League of Legends player, and who used to know Boaster very, very well. In fact, Special, when Boaster worked on Excel as a cameraman, a vlogger, he used to sit in the audience and watch you play professionally in the LEC. And today, you've got the opportunity to sit in the audience and watch him play. So how surreal is this moment?
I mean, this is like an amazing moment for me because I obviously worked with him right in Excel back in the day. And now having it switched around is such a cool feeling. Like, I am the one watching him, and I mean, they're crushing as well, right? It honestly couldn't be any better.
Yeah, that does help. Now, I think a lot of people behind the scenes, they talk about how his esports journey has been a bit of a roller coaster. You know, he tried to go pro in League of Legends, it failed, and now he is a Valorant player on stage. You were there, a part of that journey when you tried to go pro. So talk me through, you know, how hard of a grind was it really for him?
I mean, honestly, from the start, I could already see he has the right mentality to go pro. It's just, it can cost a lot of time and effort, and he was trying so much to get better that in a short time he got so much better at League of Legends, and him putting his efforts from, well, CSGO basically now to Valorant, and then using that is actually incredible. It doesn't surprise me because I've never really met anyone with a work ethic like that.
You knew he was going to make it.
Yeah, I did.
And lastly, again, you've known him for many, many years. What's he like off the server?
I mean, he's such an energetic person. Like, it's amazing to be around. It's great. It's always happy vibes, joking around, and I mean, sometimes I miss it, you know, because it's like, it's a lovely guy, like, seriously, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be really happy to see that you're here supporting him as well. Thank you very much, Special.
Thank
and
you.
we'll see how Fnatic can do in the second half as I pass this back to Des and Tom.
I don't remember, that wasn't Boaster. I know that Sue and Boaster look kind of similar and they do spend a lot of time together, but I think he's on the server, right?
You are the worst person in the world. You know what? I love my man, Sam. I'm not going to throw him in the deep end on this one. No, Sam, I'm not throwing you in the deep end.
You're not throwing Sam by name-dropping him and saying that...
Nah, all right then, fine. Producer's telling me. Producer gave me the wrong call. Our bad guys.
It was correct to me. Like, can you just not
Tom,
read?
Shut your mouth. You know, your job is to be smart. Be smart about the game. Go on, talk us into it.
Liquid, tough task, got win lots round in row.
Sorry, I was talking to Sam. He's
Okay.
more important for a conversation than you.
That's true, to be honest. At this point, he could probably give a little bit more insight, because I think turning this round for Liquid is going to need a miracle. I think that's the best way to put it. Pistol round would be a good start. Already claiming a decent amount of control back. Fnatic, both teams seemingly having a heavier C lean in the early stages of the round.
It
With a lot of
feels like the classic move. Start C, get the orb, rotate over towards A. If you see a lot of resistance, cut through Baby Door in towards B. It's the go-to standard. I've determined that after probably watching 3 or 4 maps of it.
You know. Well,
That's all that's required.
okay.
Okay. pretty naughty. Straight headshot through the smoke as well. Liquid have got control of B.
Yeah, they've also got control of A. You've got Yumpy just sat deep after basically getting rid of all of the utility that was there. Boast are going to be pushing back through. Nice work from Redgar. There is a trade, but a 4 versus 2 situation. This pistol looks like it's on lock.
Here's a good start. It's exactly what Liquid wanted. They didn't want to be walking out of their own map choice down 13-1. But here, tucked into the corner, right in front of your face, buddy. How's it going? Down he goes to the nade as well. At least one back for Durka, but there are still 3 more to find in a 2 versus 3 with about, what, 10 seconds to pull it off?
Last player standing.
Simply not going to happen, is it?
How many does Durka get? That's the only real worry, but no. Good start from Liquid. At least getting something into this second half. Of course, it is going to be a mountain to climb as ever, but at least they've managed to get themselves a pistol. And on the other side of things, I imagine Fnatic are probably not going to invest too much. Focus on those 4 buys. You only need to get 2 rounds and this is over.
That's it. Focus on the next round here and just see what you can possibly pull out here. Maybe a Sheriff or 2 on side to dance with death a little, though by the looks of it, no. Completely holding out, at least for now. For Liquid, as you say, it's still a big mountain for them to climb back and fight their way into this one. It feels almost impossible, so it does feel impossible. Not even almost, it does feel impossible. We'll give them a chance. An aggressive push from Fnatic out towards C here as well. We've never seen this kind of push come out from Liquid, but Fnatic really want to take the fight in towards Spawn here. If they're looking towards B, they might find one. Chronicles found one on a swing out as well. Good bit of team play.
No.
There are 4 players coming in from behind here. What is that for a pistol force?
Oh, no.
And they've got the Spectre.
Oh, this is starting to get really worrying. This would basically just crush them, maybe even for the next map as well. I was hoping this would be a confidence builder for some of the players, and Yumpy's just been dinked up as well. Redgar finally gets the first kill on the board. Stun up is going to force them back in towards the site. The remaining players of Fnatic, they're being held by a fragment for now, but they'll start their rotation.
It was a good hold by Soulcast as well, that Bulldog bullying Fnatic away. Still have the one on side to work with. It's Redgar off towards the left. Leo finds one. Down to a 1 versus 1. Is this actually doable? Feels like it might be if he gets the read first, but doesn't find it. Soulcast completes the 3K. A little bit precarious there for Liquid, but they hold on.
A little bit. They almost lost a round to what was, I think, 1 ghost and 4 classics. Like that was far more than a little bit.
They didn't start out with a Spectre. They picked it up off the kill they got on B.
Yeah, no. I think they just literally had classics and a ghost. Like it's an absurdity. And now you look at what they're going to have to come in with here. There's already an Odin on board for Chronicle. I'm not even surprised by that anymore. And it's basically everything invested here. If Liquid don't win this round, it is basically GG.
Whew. Okay. Hopefully this time around, no really aggressive pushes in towards Spawn. Absolutely not. But Durka starts out with 1. At least some A control established, but at the cost of safe.
It's not
doesn't really feel worth it, does it?
Not worth it, no.
Because now they're probably going to have to back away anyway, because again, with all the walls being lined up, 2 players still holding on to A. Of course, that knowledge being taken really away from the side of Liquid. I can't help but ignore how much of a utility we got stacked up as well out towards C and B. Players on A, everything else the other side of the map.
They're slowly looking to make their way forward. The thing is, you've got Killjoy utility here, and you've got Chronicle sat there as well. Maybe trying to make sure they just can't be caught out by KO util. Now, Redgar has managed to take the site. This is not really being challenged for, although with an Odin, it might just be an attempted wallbang if he tries to go for the plant. The thing is, the rest of the team may be looking to try and head into B as this is a bit of a ruse. And again, Redgar is going to find them an opener, pulling some players away. But in fact, the attack might actually just move that direction themselves.
I mean, he's got control and he's baited the TP out, which really makes the defenders think here, okay, they're rotating off towards B. It was really good use of the door, but Fnatic, they ain't messing around with this one. They still find a kill for themselves. And TL have got to work their way forwards. They've managed to get full site control now, 3 players in. That we have got 2 angles being set up. That Odin just will not stop making an appearance. They get a couple back on the side. There's only 1 left, and it's Soulcast all by himself to hold against them all with 13 seconds on the clock. Alpha Year with the collection. Match points coming right up.
Yeah, you could see why they want that Odin on that side of the map. The classic default plant spot, it's just so easy to spam through it. So even Boaster just goes, picks it back up and just denies them once again. I also love just the sheer confidence you're getting out of the Fnatic players right now. Like, Alpha dives through the smoke just to kill off Redgar and just give them that advantage straight back into things. 12-3. 1 round of the next 9. There's only one team I know that could turn this around, and unfortunately Liquid are against them.
And it's probably, even on any map it feels, given how this game has gone, they could do it on as well, not just on Icebox. Here we go.
Out of here.
I just love that someone's actually peeking with an Odin as well. It's absolutely ludicrous.
Oh, the Let's Go Liquids are still chiming out. I appreciate the optimism, the support for the team, but
that's all it is at this point, I'm afraid. It's actually Fnatic fans that are also chanting along with it.
hey, you know, you want
They want their gods to be challenged, to show their real power.
Well, I think they have shown their real power. Safe. He's going to try and just fight deep into the site. He's definitely not shown his best so far in this map, but they will get themselves into an afterplant. Weaponry still heavily in favor of Fnatic and Redgar. Actually going TPing into the A site. He's trying to clear them out from behind. Like, wrap around on that flank. Leo is looking in the wrong direction. He might actually have a kill for free.
Oh, but the paranoia might give him away if he's not too careful either. No, doesn't bring it out at that exact moment. We've already seen Liquid rotating. Their ultimate's through, trying to see what they can pull off here as well. They do get one from the backside. That might put a little bit of panic into this Fnatic side, because now they're aware that in the background they've got to deal with one. They find Yampi. Nade comes out as well, nice and close, not quite expecting, but 3 kills come in for Fnatic. They forced it down to a 2 versus 2. Redgar, the one that's been popping off in the round, but that's going to be the spike going off here, and Fnatic, despite their best efforts, will not be able to hold on. Liquid make it 4.
Huge round from Redgar. Absolutely unbelievable. Like, managing to come through on that flank, a really risky TP from the shadows over into that A site, and then just wiping them out on the flank. It seemed like Fnatic had absolutely no idea of where he was. He's currently 17 and 15 at the moment. The IGL is still performing to a decent standard. Unfortunately, there hasn't been much else for this roster on an individual level. Now, the buy from Fnatic is definitely not perfect. A piece or two missing, but we've seen them do more with less.
What kind of craziness can they employ here if they really want to make this work? I love how, by the way, we've got the real disparity of buys here. That you have an Odin in one player and a Sheriff in another.
Yeah, you know.
Literally playing from top to bottom here. But imagine how probably looking here to play a couple of his teammates, collect the rifles away off the back of it, and it's a potluck kind of chance in this round, it feels. Both teams having to go through the wall and no one falling down, but some damage definitely being taken.
Heavy.
Durka coming off the worst for wear on it too.
For sure. Maybe you should leave the wall banging over to Chronicle. He seems to be the maestro of it so far. Him and Alpha have been doing their work. No, he's gone back for more.
Serious?
The man is desperately low on HP, but seems to have absolutely no fear. And actually, because of that, they've fallen back off this position. Haunt out. Not actually going to find too much. Spike's still lurking outside of A, but it might be that same move again. Redgar did an incredible job of just selling an initial fake in towards this C site, and you can already see the beginning of rotations coming through from the Fnatic players as they look to go in the other direction.
Do they know? There's enough utility that went down there to maybe convince Fnatic, but I feel like they've read into it a little bit too intelligently. You can see a couple of players angling out towards B, almost as if they're ready to commit to it. But now they get the read. It could have been a second for Durka, but no. Yampi gets the shutdown, site control established, and this is when Fnatic all start their rotate over.
Yeah, he'll get Seekers. That's the one ultimate they're going to have ready for this after-plant position. Can maybe get a little bit of information as to where they're coming from. Allow for those rotations to come in of his teammate.
There it comes. Seekers racing on up here, may even catch out onto one as well on the short range side of things. Haunt goes to reveals location, but a full flash comes in and Yampi goes into another. Really making himself important in this round before finally being shut down by Leo. 3 still standing for Fnatic, and they've got 2 more to find. They get 1.
Oh no, he doesn't expect him to be that close. Left onto Nats in the clutch scenario though. Into the 1v1, time being bought on the spike, and Nats will keep it going a little longer. Team Liquid cling to life with 1 man standing and 5 on the board.
Another clutch coming out. Question for you, Tom. At what point do you start to believe?
12.
That's not very British of you. We love an underdog normally.
I do love an underdog. Unfortunately, I'm not delusional. And we're going into a round where Fnatic, okay, you go, oh, look, the buy's not great. It's a Guardian, pistols, but they have all 5 ults online. That, for me, is enough. They might not even use any of them in this round and just save them for the next. but they're going to have multiple opportunities with their ultimates. Now, we spoke about it on their attack side. When Fnatic had ults, even just one, that was enough to close a round. Almost every single time, they would make things very awkward. You give this team 5 ults, I'm not going to lie to you, I wouldn't even be surprised if they close it here.
And that really speaks volumes when that's their biggest consideration, right? Do we invest all 5 ults and try and win it now? Or do we wait for the following round when we have a bye?
Yeah.
And can then guarantee it over there? That's kind of a measure of ego, I think, it's really going to come down to. Have they got the self-assuredness to close things out here and now? Or do we need one more? But I really think this timeout is going to be exactly what they need to get their heads straight here and stop what's slowly, very slowly, starting to be a momentum builder for Team Liquid.
As I said.
It tells you a lot when 4 players aren't into double-digit kills 17 rounds in.
Yeah, it's not been great. It's been a rough time, and we hyped up Safe, and thus far he's yet to deliver. Still plenty of time in this series to turn that around. Sees nade early. Just look at the utility combinations being used by Fnatic to just garner that extra space. Allow Durka to shut down one side of the map. He's got a showstopper as well, so if they try and pressure him too heavily, he might just be able to end it here and now. And look at the rest of the players of Fnatic. Splitting themselves between C and B. They have a very, very fast rotation if Liquid double up into this site.
This is very similar to the holds that we saw out of Liquid in, I'd wager probably at least a quarter of the rounds back in the first half. 3 sat on C, 1 was in towards B and 1 was on A. But their positions are so much further forward. The fact that you've got Durka holding up really close and tight on towards A main, and then also got one holding much closer on B, I believe it's Boaster, looking to pressure in towards Orb again. It's always been these similar spots. They don't even need the Orbs in these rounds, but it's denying resources away from Liquid.
The Boombot has caught at least one player, so instantly Fnatic start rotating back, but Liquid are reading into this themselves. B site seems to be their best bet. Boaster just playing around a single smoke, waiting within it. He's gonna try and survive. I don't know how he's alive, but he's run out of bullets. Quickly decimated. Leo's found one, but Safe just looks to take control.
And those are the ones there as well. Great read in, and they have absolutely strong on their way through into sight here. Durka's in a 1 versus 2, has the ultimate on side. Does he believe in himself? Not quite as much as Nats does in himself. That's it though, because as we said, they've been quite conservative there. They've held on to the ultimates.
Yeah.
And now they get a 4-buy.
Yeah, now they get a 4-buy and 5 ults. That's the thing. If Liquid survive this round, genuinely, then maybe I start to believe. Because if you can beat Fnatic with a 4-buy and 5 ults, then we're talking. Now things get interesting. I still think it's going to be incredibly difficult, even if they do manage to get through this, but that's the toughest thing of all. Like, you've got a lockdown, you've got a Viper's Pit. Like, these are high-impact ults. A showstopper as well. Nightfall. If you need a retake, you've got everything you could ever need. So I don't think this is going to be an easy one for Liquid by any stretch of the imagination.
I think even if Liquid lose the game here as well, you know, I think they've proved that probably a lot of this comes down to the sides on this map as well. You know, Fnatic were up 11 rounds on the attacking side. Liquid have only dropped 1 of their attacks so far, and they've looked mostly convincing. Sure, a couple of rounds they've won out clutches, but have shown up that, you know, we're not absolute clowns. We're not getting rolled over 13-1, 13-0, for example. It still feels competitive, even if we don't get to see every single round in this half.
Yeah, I will say maybe they'll hesitate a little bit more when picking this map again. If they need to put a little bit of work in on the defensive side, but you've definitely got a point. They are showing that they have.
It's not the rollover I think we all thought, what, 5-6 rounds ago.
Here we go though. Again, just basically playing plant denial over on that defensive side. Lockdown available if they want to try and put it in. For now, at least hesitating a little bit. Maybe have the read wrong as they start to go back in the other direction. Spam through is going to do so much. These Odins have just caused issues, and now Chronicle watching his buddy from the sidelines. Lockdown now thrown in. This is looking bleak.
They've all got to back away. The thing is, they hadn't got the spike down here, so actually, it's far from the end of the world. They're going to hard rotate off in towards B and bring out the Viper's Pit as well. The Fade ult rolls across, everything being dunked into such a small room here. They've got to find the kills, but it's Alpha Year to collect a 3. Makes it his map, 13-6 to Fnatic.
Yeah, an impressive display. The inevitable confirmed. Didn't think they were going to make it through that round, but the fact is, the 2 entries they got actually had nothing to do with the ults. just showing the power of the Odin on this map, which I'm sure Mitch will be very happy about, as it is his favorite weapon of choice, but also just the sheer depth of this roster. Alpha, an incredible game. Durka looked fantastic, but there really wasn't a missing piece when it came to Fnatic, and that was their opponent's map choice.
Looks good, right? Feels good, man.
Yeah.
What I love is obviously in the pre-game as well. Look, the devs very fairly saying Alfie has had 8 days back with this team. Great player still.
Imagine him after 9.
Imagine him after 9. But he's at a stage where obviously you've just seen him absolutely pop off as well.
Yeah.
So Fnatic, for anyone concerned that there was going to be a blip in form for a few games.
No, that 1v3, I think everybody's doubts just went straight out the window and everybody's just having a good time watching Alpha again.
I mean, again, we'll come back to that point. You know, Fnatic looked incredible that first half. Liquid, I'll give it to them. Also had some good rounds in that second half, but just not quite enough to bring down the Kings of EMEA. Let's see if a break will help them out. Back with you guys in just a few minutes.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Zero distraction. Zero doubt. Zero opposition.
What is this from EA? He is currently unstoppable. He is just a consistent demon. El Diablo.
Hey guys, it's EA. Welcome to my course on optimal Valorant training. I'm going to be demonstrating now some angle clearing. I'll slowly come around the corner as well, making sure no one's on these off angles.
I need to get us all ready.
Fnatic, they continue their win streak in this rivalry as well as they close out a Lotus against Team Liquid. I'm your host Yingsu and I'm back here with Kakuka and Zesht. Did you believe that was also a 3-11, by the way? If Liquid had managed to do that, it would have been a 3-11 comeback. Did you believe at any point?
No, I don't think so. I think that the moment that Fnatic was getting so many rounds in a row, the fact that they were working with the economy in a different way, just investing in the Odins, and then, you know, they moved from half shields to we're capping money, so just spend whatever you want. The utility economy as well, like everything seemed perfectly rounded on the side of Fnatic.
The dreamy part in me at one point thought it is somewhat possible. But at the realistic part of me just said, it's not going to happen. It is literally impossible. And that we've witnessed, right? They were getting a bit momentum towards the end. They were getting a bit more of the actual showing us how much it sometimes is a bit more attack side where you can set the pace for yourself. But at the end of the day, we have once more witnessed, I would say, something close to a masterclass.
Yeah, a masterclass, and I think it also has to do, obviously, as you said, with the side that we have started, because when Liquid was in the attack, we were starting to see, you know, build them up the rounds, actually understanding the plan that they had and yada yada, but after a 1-11 half, it's just too complicated. And the way that Fnatic was doing it with the Odin, so what are the things that you can do when you're playing Neon and you're on the defense? You either have to be aggressive or you have to rely a lot on the retakes. On the pistol round, Dirk even saved his utility to play for the post plan. So they were going one step ahead, completely prepared for what they were going to do. We saw Safe and Redguard just trying on the defense to maybe, you know, pick a little bit, and it was either Alpha or Chronicle with the Odin being like, are you sure you want to cross that wall?
Yeah, they tried. But Vincent, you were setting up this Durka versus Safe. You know, Safe, he's coming for Durka's throne. Not today, though.
Not today is a good way to put it. Let me say it like this, right? It was round 8, and at round 8, it was Safe still without any kills. The man was absolutely, you know, shut down by anyone within this team, particularly, of course, with Durka, but it was just not the confidence we've usually seen from him, where he can shine, where he can loft, where he can smile, where he can shit-talk his opponents so well. And this is something that obviously has to do with two things. The individual prowess of Fnatic, as mentioned, for example, with Durka, but also the entire system that did not even allow it. We did not see that great initial duel where he was like, yeah, I'm going to come out and top find the first kill in the first 10 seconds. Yeah. That just did not happen with it because Fnatic was cautious.
It's especially the first rounds. We were seeing Durka just going one step forward, going on the hunt. The retake wasn't even possible. It didn't matter if Safe was with somebody else. There's not much that you can do when they're literally on your face.
He did get diffed a little bit by Durka, and Kakuka, you know, in the beginning of the day, you said that there was an incredible stat that Safe had, which seems to be ruined now.
Yeah, exactly. He was, until now, the only player that had ended up positive on duels against every single player that he had played, and that just didn't happen.
Yeah, and this round, I think, summed up what was happening, you know. I thought that they were going to win
kills,
this.
by the way. This is Safe's first kills.
This
3v1.
This is a piece of art. This is basically a piece of art because Safe was getting
one.
his first first, but this is where it stopped. This is where time stopped. This is where everything stopped, and he was playing that so well. Here, he was not panicking too much. He knew it was just the direct direction. And who cannot feel the way Emil does? There was no universe where they lost this.
It was so complicated, and after 8 rounds being like, okay, this is going to be it, I think it is one of the few times that we actually get a mini reaction. Sometimes it's just like, you know, another day
He's
at the
always
office.
so stressed, I feel like. He's always like just sweating, like, ugh. But he was happy with that one, and again, another day, I felt like Liquid would have won that round. It was just Alpha having that time of his life. I'm glad you mentioned the Odin, because we always credit Fnatic being the meta setters, the people that come up with really, really great ideas. And this Odin, Kakuka, caused Liquid so many problems.
Yes, exactly. We were talking about, you know, you want to be aggressive on the defense once you have that Neon, but it is something that, you know, it's not going to happen. Chronicle is going to be shutting you down. If it isn't him, it's going to be Alpha. It's going to be spread out around the map and trying to cause as much damage as possible.
And this is what's crazy when we compare it to other teams, right? Who invest a lot of utility as attackers early on, who invest information utility to actually deny that space near rubble. They have done the total opposite with that Odin by just spraying through, and neither the deep angle nor the close I'm gonna push you angle has pretty much been allowed due to I could always take damage. And this is where this Odin is so useful because it seems like those walls are made out of paper.
And it's not only that, the walls are made out of paper, but also you have the utility combos. Coming from Leo with Dirk, if you add that up to an Odin, there's so little chance for you to actually do something in regard.
Look how quick it killed the dog.
But it's
just gone.
It's so important as well that when we were done with this half, 2 players in Liquid had died every single round. The other 3 had died 11 rounds. So he's constantly on the hunt. You're not saving guns. It's not going to happen. Every single down, you're shut down, 100%.
And also, you were saying this to me in the match, but nice little camera there shot. You were saying this to me in the match that, you know, other teams are starting to do this half buy, half shield thing. Maybe the Odin is the counter because Liquid were doing the half shield, but you can't do that against an Odin. You're dead.
I think that it was the last rounds where, of course, you need to make as much as an investment possible. But you know that if you have that half shield and you're going to be against the Odin, there's such a big chance that you're not going to make it, even if you're jumping around. Even if you're playing Neon, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm gonna bet that a lot of other teams are gonna start picking up this Odin because Fnatic have already shown them.
But the thing is that you can only because hear me out. When Chronicle bought the Odin, it was on round 3. It was their bonus, and he goes and is like, I'm just gonna buy an Odin. I'm just gonna go and buy an Odin. Like, what I mean is that so many teams, one, are not gonna have the courage to do that, and the other half are not gonna have the economy to do that.
I believe he actually bought an Odin every single round, except
No. There was the round that lost after they lost that round, and I think
he got
Chronicle was
dropped
out.
an
He was
Odin.
like, no. There was the time that he stopped after 9 rounds. He was like,
okay, there was
okay,
one round. There we go.
But
what I will say is, you guys mentioned briefly, you know, Safe and Redgar, they were really trying to bring this back. Redgar in particular, as you guys know, this is such a high-pressure grudge match for him. And my God, he really, really tried, Zesh. He really tried his best to try and get his team back into this game.
And it was nice to see because oftentimes he was just in the middle towards the bottom of the scoreboard. Right here, I think he played a pivotal role, particularly looking at the second half. I enjoyed it so much how he baited, how he was the one that is actually setting up setups like at the 50-second mark, trolling around a bit more towards the C side, whilst everyone is actually going towards A. I think it was a really good pillar of the success that has been found by Liquid, whilst also doing that in the fragging department, and it seemed to become personal.
I love what we saw also. I think it was round 16 where after the plant he decides to TP onto A and just, you know, try and give Liquid that chance. To me, he tried from the moment that the map started until it was done.
Yeah, he did indeed, and as you can see, they only got 6 rounds. He was putting this kind of number after getting 6 rounds, 15.8% first blood as Omen.
He was really trying. Like, to him, it was 1,000% personal. Of course, we need to remember that this is the map that Liquid picked. They knew that they were probably going to start on that defense, and it's something that they had to be prepared for. But especially on the head-to-head, let's give it, you know, we were saying that it's Rekka versus the Monitor. Is Rekka versus Boaster on that IGL head-to-head. He did end up 5-0 against Boaster. So, you know, there's that tiny
little
bit of a
things
win.
in life.
And if we consider that Liquid won 5 maps over, best performance in VCT EMEA so far.
Yeah,
he's individually best.
You could tell how it meant him, that he really wanted to win that. But as we move on to the next map, however, it is going to be Haven. They have faced each other before, and in fact, the last time they faced each other, it was the map that knocked them out of Champions. Liquid was knocked out of Champions by losing against Fnatic on Haven. Is history destined to repeat itself today?
I mean, it's Haven and it's Fnatic. It's become quite a comfort pick that throughout lock-in, they've picked it as much as they can, as much as other teams have allowed them to do so. So they have the reps against the best teams in the world. They definitely have the calm of just 13-6 Liquid, and they definitely feel comfortable enough. They've done it before, and they can repeat it.
And also, let's not forget, Gambit, of course, back in the days, they hated this map. It was a permaban for years and years and years.
Redgar and the Reyna. He's coming back.
Reyna and Jet.
Even the Reyna was better. Do you remember? He didn't even know. He told us in the interview. He didn't even know how to dismiss.
Yeah, that was
we
great.
had this conversation in the week 1 where we were like, they were playing against that Vitality, right? They were losing at 6-14. We're like, is it one of those things where they're trying it for the sake of it, or do they rather want to leave it out from now on? Because I'm generally not a big fan of Liquid / Redgar on this map, because it seems like it always, disjointed is the wrong word, but it misses a bit of the encouragement that we see. We miss a bit of their initiative that we would expect on this map.
There is a saving grace, which is they knew they were going to ban Icebox, and if they ban Icebox, Fnatic will pick Haven or Fracture. So they have had plenty of time to really hone in on this Haven.
Yeah, exactly. It's still not going to be easy. We have to remind people also that the last time that Fnatic played this map, it was with Kamik, and he had a brilliant performance. Sue, you said you may be a little bit concerned about how Alpha is going
take
to
it
go.
back.
Okay.
I literally take it back.
Because, you know, he was shining then, and Alpha will do it now.
Well, Fnatic, they haven't changed a single composition yet so far in EMEA. Let's see if Liquid will do that here.
Well, so far it sticks the same. I don't see any changes coming in. It would be a bit of a surprise to be thinking about that. Boaster is going to the Astro. Obviously, no big surprise on Durkee. I think there is going to be no change. It's exactly the same. And well, it feels like the, let's say, compositionally most boring game we have had for a while, because nobody does anything different to them before. But
that proves to you how high the stakes are.
Yeah,
like if there's something that you can rely on, if there is something that you put extra time in, it's the moment to use it. For Fnatic, it's still a comfort zone, but you know, it's a very slight difference.
Well, Liquid, they have to win this map if they want to take it to map 3 and win the series. Des and Tom, what do you think their chances are here?
Go on, Des. You take this one. You be the positive light we want to see in the world.
I'm used to being the cynic. I want to be on your side of the world here. Look, realistically, you're stepping into a fortress that belongs to Fnatic. That last map, first half, absolute domination by Fnatic. Sure, they redeemed themselves a little bit, but not enough to get really too close to a win. I can't see this going the same way.
Yeah, I think this is, you're walking into their realm at this point. I think Fnatic have been so good on this map recently. I think role-wise, it's where things really sort of match up for them. You've got Leo on his Sova, which is something we always enjoyed. Durka back on Jet. I do think there's a few people that I want to sort of talk about. Like, you've got on Liquid Nats playing that Cypher. That this was the agent that made him his name, made him famous almost, made him infamous for many.
He wrote the book, right?
So that's the thing. If he can start pulling out some of those Nats rounds, which I think have been, or were definitely missing in the last map, maybe there's an opportunity here. But that's what I'm looking at. More so than focusing on, okay, do they have this down structurally? Can they beat Fnatic strategically? No. We need the Liquid that has those superstars. We need those players that are going to step up to the plate and win rounds individually if they're going to stand a chance on this map.
Well, there is going to be a lot of work to do. It is Fnatic starting, of course, on the attack. 1 on their home map, 2 into a 3 site. And we've just seen how adept they are at rotating between sites on Lotus. Now, of course, things are a little different here on Haven. It takes longer to rotate between the sites themselves to set a little bit further back towards the defensive side of the map. So there is more work to be done. They won't be able to drag Liquid around as easily. But given the firepower and the clutch ability that we saw coming out of Fnatic, I'll still be nervous for Liquid from start to finish.
Oh my god, they've caught him while stuck in his cam.
That's one.
The shock darts from Leo are the nastiest in the world. There's just nothing you can seem to do against them. And already...
You saw his name last week, right? Leogolas.
Yeah, we're not carrying that on.
We definitely are.
It's just disgusting.
Now that I've seen that reaction on your face, I'm carrying it on deliberately.
Okay. Well, you've carried on Baby Door, and I don't like that one
That was
either.
from Blame Ender. And what do you call it? Hobbit?
I just call it Broken Door.
You called it Hobbit, you told me earlier on.
Either way. Quick push into the site. Nice start from Safe. Is already going to dome 1. Trade's coming back, but he's just hitting the shots even through the smoke. Chronicle and Alpha going to have to fall back off this one, try and reposition, take themselves to the other side of the map. A few tagged up players though, Des, so there's a chance.
There's a chance, but that's really all it is at the moment.
30 seconds
Chance.
left.
They're still going to be able to get the spike down here and then win out in a 2 versus 4. And really this is where you look towards the composure, the discipline out of Team Liquid to play for trades, even in that numbers down situation in terms of HP. Still have more guns and therefore more ability to win.
They've still got Paranoia onto Redgar. That's going to be one of the pieces of utility that could completely change this. He's playing back towards the spawn, so I might think he may even try and clear out this backside. I think they even know that Chronicle's there now with the utility that he's already used, and the wraparound coming in for a teammate leaves him isolated. We saw a 1v3 before from Alpha. He now needs to add another to the tally, but Safe is going to shut him down before he gets the chance. Liquid are off the mark.
Oh, I wonder where Safe was, and we've just found out. Waiting for Fnatic on Haven. Good first round coming out with a 3K. A little bit quieter back on Lotus. Just really good initial pushback I felt against the members of Fnatic. That is infuriating because on the camera you also get to see it come sailing past and still hit you. That's what's even more frustrating.
I think it's a good sign for him though. Like, we haven't seen many quiet maps from him throughout the entirety of this event. way towards that Blade Storm, having a rifle in round number 2. I'm interested by Alfia buying a Stinger, though. Doesn't even have any shields behind it. Just going to try and do some damage, I guess.
I guess he can get a rifle with a half shield next round?
Yeah.
I'm sure he can as a result. Maybe that's what the ride is here. Give them something to go off of. Try and look to post him in a slightly more aggressive position when the time matters most. And that time is already starting to build up here. And here we go. Right upon window at close range. This is where that Stinger can really do some damage. Needs to pray that someone's going to come peeking over here, holding in Garage himself, and Nats, I think, was looking for the right idea. But the crouch down from Alpha here kept him tucked away just so slightly.
Flash through. He's going to get absolutely nothing. The one weapon that they had, the rest is just pistols. Now this becomes an almost impossibility. Aftershock will force one out. Chronicle still manages to get a kill. Again, at least making this one a little bit more costly. However, they're slowly being picked apart. Good work from Liquid, and a second round comes quite easily in the end.
As expected as well. Some cute little ideas, I think, coming out of Fnatic. Sheriff 4-2 on side, playing on the back of the Spectre and Garage, as we commented, but not quite able to pull it off to perfection. Liquid with a really good bit of discipline there being shown. The 2v1 through window, making use of the flash. Smart stuff overall. Now you can really hear the crowd getting behind Team Liquid here in Mesa Berlin too. What round is it, Tom?
Well, it is the Logitech G Power
Yes,
round.
it is, Tom.
And this is where we actually get the purchase coming in for Fnatic. So that strong start is one thing from Liquid, but this is where, if they can steal this round away, it will be a huge boost going into this defensive side. Durka already getting slowed and stunned up early. And actually, Safe is going to go battling for this control. Now, bear in mind, he is the only Vandal currently in the hands of the defense, but with the amount of control he's already got, they're not in a bad spot.
The amount of kills he's been racking up as well. Certainly not in a bad spot. A couple of kills in the round and maybe he can turn that gun over towards Redgar. Pop the ult if he really needs it to secure this third round. Is that bonus round they're playing in? And he's the one posting up so tight and close here. Chronicle, I think, has at least a whiff of what's going on towards A. Backing his way ever so slowly back past Spawn. Looks like actually a push through Garage is on the agenda.
Oh boy, it's an optimistic fight from Redgar. A pistol up close. And now Nats is just trying his best to survive. Had a little bit of support. The thing is, he's walking straight back into boast of the flash. However, it's Sublime. Their utility usage is forcing Fnatic back. And with the spike still on long, maybe there was a chance, but they have just been wiped out over the last few seconds.
Yeah, and Safe at this point, I think, going to stick it in and try and hold the rifle. Thinks about pushing back in maybe here. But with the 4 versus 1 on the board and all the rifles on side, I think we all know exactly which way this is going.
Yeah, I feel like just holding on to this has so much more value. He'll be able to buy anyway, so it wouldn't be the end of the world. And I guess the thing is, if he gets 1 kill and goes down, that's actually Blade Storm for the next round. So I think that might be the only sort of thought in his brain is, okay, do I want to just try and trade this to almost get myself that ultimate, have the chance to rule the round? Still, though, I like how disruptive Liquid are being. Like, there was a lot of utility put in there to try and really battle for Garage. Happy to get up in the faces of Fnatic, not allow them to have that sort of same execute presence we saw in the prior map. And there was a genuine chance where if Chronicle doesn't get that double kill, maybe this round slips at least a little bit closer. For now, though, Fnatic, they make it look relatively easy. They have 4 players alive, keep their economy strong, and Safe, well, he holds on to the 1 rifle, or strong rifle they brought into this round, and they'll have a full purchase coming up in the next.
This is where things now start to get really interesting, I think. We've seen a good start from Liquid, a bounce back from what we saw on Lotus, but Fnatic coming back with a little bit of force here as well between the 2 sides. So this is where the battleground is now established. Should be a full buy for everyone coming in. 1 or 2 ultimates starting to come online as well. On one side, that Hunter's Fury, the other, the Rolling Thunder, which we, as we know, can be so deadly when coming for a push in.
Yeah, I wonder if Fnatic will base around that. It's normally a lean in towards the A site when you have the Rolling Thunder. You can pretty much clear out the entirety of the site. But actually, a very early Hunter's Fury. This is just to try and give Safe some space. Pressure onto Durka, a free kill.
Pigeon shooting!
And now he's going to pressure off of it. I thought maybe Safe would just opt to try and fall back after they get the opener, but 1 wasn't enough for Liquid.
Really pushing out aggressively, and I love it as well, that response after the bonus. Just coming out and looking to meet Fnatic in the field itself, and walking away with a couple of kills is an absolute smash and grab because Safe's got away with 85 HP still on the board.
Yeah, this is where we now look to Fnatic. How are they going to react to this? The worst thing is as well, the player that got caught was Chronicle. The Rolling Thunder is gone. That ultimate that could have potentially brought this back, no longer an issue. And maybe that was the reason we saw Liquid get so aggressive, is almost just try and counter. Don't allow them to get to the point where they can use that ult. I like this from Fnatic though. Not shooting the dart, not giving away their positions. They're just going to sit pretty. The thing is, with presence into mid being searched for Safe, they can gamble a couple of players on this side of the map.
30 seconds left.
Now they know, and I think we all expect at this point to see a player in heaven. They've got the right idea. How's it going to work out? Dropping down the smoke up high. That was the heaven player straight away, and the bolt came on through as well, but Leo gets it through the wall. Beautiful little bit of play, making use of the smoke to disguise it away, and netting them a kill. Yampi going to retake up that ground. 3 players still left for Fnatic.
That's the thing, still a favorable after plant. I think Boaster may be realizing that, okay, I've got to try and find something here. Maybe getting that a little bit more aggressive. Util, not the greatest, but they do have a drone to sort of keep them a little bit further back. Info going to be had onto Safe. I don't know if they can necessarily act off it, though.
By the looks of it, Liquid are the ones who want to go aggressive here. They're pushing in super aggressively. They look close, but Redgar turns away at the wrong second. Boaster gets one. It's still a couple of kills going either way. Leo still standing, swings out and Safe finds him. Should have enough time here to get this one off as well. They'll
The
just
dart is
about
on him.
walk away with it.
That's how you know the utility is accurate from Leo, when a dart is literally stuck in the leg. And you can see from Safe some tactical crouching onto his old teammate. I know for him, he's got a lot of love for Leo, but this is still a grudge match. Now, we mentioned it. I believe that Safe was what? 0-6, 0-7 in the previous? He's now 7-0, so he's completely flipped that scoreline.
A double updraft to try and escape the Hunter's Fury, but simply could not get away with it. Not going to miss his prey in that situation. It's a good fight back once again. The beauty here being that Fnatic still can afford basically a full buy, bar a Guardian coming out for Chronicle. Everyone else still in the spot to be able to battle back against Liquid.
Oh, he knows there's a man in this corner. He knows his Durker as well. Safe feeling himself, and well, he's going to feel the wrath of Fnatic. A quick opener for them. Soulcast still here. Still trying to hold them back that little bit longer, but Fnatic don't feel the need to rush into things. They've already got the openers.
It's really interesting seeing Liquid being the ones going more aggressive when we saw how aggressively Fnatic played on Lotus. Here it's been a little bit calmer. Sure, the first 40 seconds of a round on Lotus were one of the more slower parts of the game. Kind of a similar story here, but it's a full rotate away. Just this slow and steady one with Boaster being left to lurk here inside of sewers. Could be a freebie onto Soulcast if he gets too aggressive.
That's the thing, they need to do something. They can't just sit back in a 3 versus 5. It seems like they might have an idea that he's here. Flash dodge! He looks the wrong way. Little bit unlucky. And while the cross is somewhat being held, Nats is going to go back and try and destroy this man. Eventually drops him. But the rest of the B site is completely fallen. Fnatic in a hugely advantageous spot. And unless Redgar can pull off some more TikTok plays, I don't think there's much to be had in this position.
As it looks, what they can do is just spam here freely onto the spike itself. And now Liquid really any chance. Just managed to get rid of the Nana's form, which is one thing for it. There's at least for now covered by smoke. As I said, there's a free fire smoke coming on through. And it's Durker as well to bring him down, leaving just one left standing. It's Nats all by himself by the looks of it. Wants to just save out in this round again. He's chased him down. But Nats thought he might get away with it. Durker reminds him, absolutely not.
But that's the thing. I think
can
that's...
confirm the crouch key is still working as well.
Yeah, I think those are Durker's first 3 kills as well. A slower start to this game, but that never seems to last too long. And they counter-save, because that's the thing. Over the last few rounds, he's been able to run riot, just taking control deep in towards A main, so this time Fnatic properly battle for it. It seems like they're going to do it again, just wanting to make sure that Liquid aren't able to get that control for free and allow them to have those easier rotations around the rest of the map.
More of those ultimates coming online is one thing to be aware of. Durker, I'll keep my eyes on here. That place online.
No! Did you see the cam reaction?
Straight into the free fire, and he knows what he's done.
Get me a replay of that. Get me a replay of Safe.
Jacob, I know you're listening out there. Someone will take that replay anytime, buddy. March on through here behind the Aldrone as well. Really trying to fight hard for this controller. So even the previous round when they left it behind, they didn't want to leave it as an easy rotation away, but he sees 4 players pushing in, and that's all the information Liquid will need to know exactly what's going on.
Oh, I like the re-aggression. Again, you can't just sit and allow Fnatic to execute onto you. So they're trying to claim some of that ground instead. They're going to be hit by that Rolling Thunder, or at least one of them is. The players at the back of the site are not connected onto, but it doesn't matter. Still surviving within all of the utility is Yumpy, but he is surrounded.
Back onto another. Still site control and number control for the side of Fnatic in the 4 versus 2. A scary couple of initial rounds. Really feels like it's now been turned on its head and they are warming back into things here. You got the potential plan coming out of Redgar, but so well posted. You've got Fnatic just holding off towards the right-hand side. In fact, maybe a little push down here towards A main. Up nice and close. It's Leo to find Redgar. Things are drawn all square.
Yeah, again, good response by Fnatic. That's 2 rounds in a row where they've basically just gone, okay, you're going to try and pressure us, you're going to try and take that map control away from us, so we're going to fight you tooth and nail for it. And I think this is where Liquid actually need to make some sort of response. Okay, that's now no longer working. Where else can we find gaps? Where can we find control that's actually going to work out for us? Now, unfortunately for them, finances are a little bit more of a minimum, but Safe does have the Blade Storm. Now, he is someone in the early stages of these rounds that started to rule the server. just look at it. Not a happy bunny. Not a happy bunny after that one.
A Valorant moment for you, tried, true, and tested. Quick technical pause coming in here then, before we get things back underway. I mean, 6 rounds in, we're at 3-3. Things all square between the 2 teams. We know that Liquid started out stronger in those first 2 or 3 rounds, but Fnatic have battled their way back in. You can see that momentum now starting to build, Tom.
Yeah, this is the stage where, like, okay, you get the pistol, you get the follow-up round, you even manage to win round number 4, which normally sets you up very nicely if you're that defensive side. Unfortunately, Fnatic's breakback has now actually put the hurt onto their economy instead, and you're looking at players like Durka with like 8,300 credits. It's the same sort of rounds that we've seen before from them, where they've just built up so much economy that no matter what happens from this point onwards, you're going to be up against it on the Liquid side. So I think although obviously this pause is technical, I wouldn't be surprised again if we see another tactical call by Liquid, just giving Emil a little bit of a chance to sort of talk things through with the team, because this is a map that already we know can easily get out of control for the side of Liquid if Fnatic start getting on the heater. And you also have to bear in mind those first few rounds, Durka didn't get a single kill. The last 2, he's got 3 and a 2K, which are basically just sheer entries into the site.
You know how Fnatic are feeling good? When they're buying full armor.
Yeah, you know, if you've got the credits
at this
to spare.
at this point, splash out. Got himself a Gucci bag on the way through. They're absolutely laughing to the bank with how much money they've collected up across the team. Liquid looking a little bit more ropey though. Eco round coming in for them, so I think we all have a pretty fair expectation of what will be the outcome of this round.
Well, yeah, the only focus here is safe. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, maybe Yumpy can get a kill with a pistol. Redgar's also been probably just as deadly with his Sheriff as he has been with anything else. But this Blade Storm has to be the focal point. They have to be using all of their utility to try and set this man up.
Really, it's about how hard he can pop as well. Got a full stack for himself in terms of the util in the back pocket. Fnatic likely it needs acknowledging that's online. They know this is an eco round. They know that's the real threat. So playing around safe themselves, not just, of course, Liquid playing around safe, but also Fnatic looking to play against it, have got to put a lot of consideration into things.
Yeah, that's why they're taking their time. You can kind of expect some of these positions to be had. Now, Redgar has got aggressive with his Sheriff. Now, I would be gobsmacked if this isn't cleared, but a nice shot. Can he get out of there? No. Okay, instant response.
Spraying into the distance as well, hoping to find someone.
He dinked Durka there.
Yeah, but not quite managing to finish anyone off, of course. Still notable enough damage that Durka's down to 38. And there's a good read here from Liquid, but they've got everyone stacked up on site. In comes the concuss right to the backside of Plat, and it's safe, rotating himself around. They really need to find this man, because he could be the absolute heartbreaker.
The thing is, they're going to start rotating back. It's late in the day. 35 seconds left on the clock. They've held on to mid-control just through Althea alone, but the thing is, this gamble rotation hasn't just come in from one side, but the other as well. Liquid have split up and started to look for clues, and it is going to be that late B hit. Maybe a chance here. Safe's not far away, but there's no one actually watching.
And get in and get this plant down as well. I mean, control largely established. Save now knows as well, with all the utils starting to be dropped here and the spike going down too.
Spike planted.
He's got to go in big, but really could do a waiting for the team here. In fact, goes in, finds one blind, looks in towards the second. He's found two. Can't quite connect onto the third as Nat's going to stick it away, sorry. Still one left standing in Alpha here. We've seen him cut them a couple of times, but it's not going to be how to do it. Massive round coming out from Liquid. As you say, playing off the back of Safe, getting back some rifles, that is going to be huge for their economy.
Yeah, I think you have to give credit to Soulcast as well. I'm pretty sure his stun catches a couple of players, so at least one of those was completely free for Safe. And then I think the other pistol kill has helped out as well. So just solid breach utility from him, allowing them a way back through. And just basically catching Fnatic with their pants down. A big round for Liquid to steal away, and now the big boy gun comes up. Sure, as we mentioned, the economy is not going to be hurting for Fnatic at all, but they do have to face off against an AWP.
Wow, this is a nice spot.
I just think it was really, really good at Liquid, because at the start of that round, it felt like a foregone conclusion. Fnatic on full buy, even with the heavy armor, stacked up to the hilt, still could not get the round closed out because of the damage that Safe had done. Now, as you commented, now that his ult's offline, feels very, very comfortable going in towards playing on the off here. And will probably post himself up on either towards A long or out towards C long. In this case, it's out towards A, just daring in on the side of Fnatic to get too close.
I think they might have predicted this though. A faster pace take, lockdown available for them, which is going to force some of the players into the corners. It seems like instead though, an instant response. A rolling thunder put through, peeking forward, almost Alpha manages to try and tap two, but they do get rid of the lockdown. Instead, Cosmic Divide put through as well, and Nats is caught as he tries to run through it.
It's good stuff, because he's given some control here as well. Bose is on site. I don't think he's 100% aware that Redgar's in behind. No! Gasol taken down and almost manages to escape. Literally a matter of millimeters. Whiffs on the op shot as well. That's not the kind of one to be missing, my friend.
Oh, this is such a weird round. Neither player seems to have any idea of where the other is. And now Durka with the realization, but Yumpy playing a slightly elevated angle. He doesn't quite finish off the remainder, but the wallbang's there from Safe. The back and forth all the way through, but again, Liquid come out on top.
I got your back.
Maybe a little bit too close for comfort for Liquid there, but again, off the back of having a couple of rounds of playing eco, dragging away weapons from Fnatic. They've got themselves built up, but now suddenly it's Fnatic you're looking at and saying, how good's the money looking? The answer is only good for one of those 5 players.
A timeout. The thing is, if they need to, Durka can juggle a weapon over. He's got a Blade Storm, so they'll still have a purchase into this one. I do think the fact that Fnatic used 2 ultimates there, and the quick reaction from Liquid, okay, let's try and fight this. Let's try and destroy this. But not only that, I didn't really spot it, the fast rotation that came through from Safe on that flank. Okay, he misses the shot, but it's just the fear from Fnatic. They go, okay, we can't plant here anymore. We've got to adapt. We've got to try and re-aggress. And unfortunately, even though the luck from Durka was very good, it just seemed like the timing wasn't quite there. Chronicle fighting, him somewhat lost in the source to trying to find out where the remaining players are. And Liquid, in that sort of scrappy mess of a round, they come out on top.
All off the back of really good shot calling as well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As soon as the Killjoy goes down, immediately Soulcast is there with the Rolling Thunder back over the top of it. And that was what enabled them to push on through, knowing anyone in the area was screwed. They could not really fight back. And sure, they got the 1, but no way in hell were they chaining that into 2 or 3 off the back of it. So again, the snap reaction times, the belief in themselves to get it over the line. It's kind of a turnaround to what we saw in the previous map. And suddenly, we start asking that question. You've come into the fortress again that is Fnatic's map. And so far, Liquid are looking good.
Yeah, a lot of their maps have been close. 13-9 versus BBL, 13-11 versus Na'Vi, and 18-16 versus Furia. They did kind of smash Sentinels, but you know. This is a change of pace, though.
Yeah, Durka's chance to march on forward with the ultimate in a second, I'd expect. Out on top, looking at pocket is so required. Finds one into Rengar as well. They keep on going. He's got the right idea as well as they are tucked in towards the back here. As Leo brings the ult out, not yet finding anyone on the tuck through, but it's what else they can pick up. It's 2 for Chronicle, as Boaster falls down to Nats off to the other side. But now they're holding up on these tight angles and denying any re-entry into the site from Liquid.
Unless there's a mistake here, it's going to be difficult. Durka up close with that Judge. Oh, shot dart almost manages to get rid of him. Yumpy trying to clear, but not the gun he was probably expecting to face off against, and now Safe no choice. Just hold on to that operator. You don't want to throw economy into the wind. I like that though. Just a change of pace from Fnatic. Still good enough. So it's not the end of the world. It definitely is a bit frustrating that that's gone down. I like the fact that Rengar was basically just teleporting around the site, trying to find a gap. That was ridiculously clean, though, from Chronicle. And that's the thing. I feel like he's had a lot of really high-impact frags in rounds that maybe Fnatic shouldn't have been as competitive in. 9 and 6 on a breach right at the top of the board. And again, we're going to see this battle for A-site control. Now, you mentioned this was a spot that normally Safe is fighting for, but not this time.
No, step by step towards mid.
Oh, no, again! He's just shooting players through smoke! He's done that twice now!
Can we get a compilation of reactions maybe towards the end? I'd love to see how much that's rattling the mental of Liquid. I mean, probably not all that much, realistically. They're at 5 and 4, again, on Fnatic's map. They won't be feeling too beat up about it. Now, we've got them moving on forward here and going deep in towards spawn. 2 have taken control of window. So Fnatic kind of have to hard commit towards this A push at this point. Otherwise, you're backing yourself into a couple of players, maybe even 3, as the breach is stacking up as well. I love this from Liquid. So aggressive on the retake.
Caution here.
It's almost a retake. And they've not even got into a spot of planting the spike yet. And they're fighting versus the full force. The flash is sublime. Unfortunately, there's just too many opponents on the other side. An attempt being made, shock darts landing on Safe. He's got to do so much here. 2 players trapped in this corner. Burst goes his way. He actually somewhat gets out of there unscathed.
The change has gone over here as well, knowing instead that he's fighting at a little bit of closer range here. Still looking to stage it off. We'll find one, but Leo finds him, collecting that headshot through the wall. Now Boast is going in for the plan, a dash away from Durka. Nice touch as well. Natska not collecting him, and Durka turns around and gets the closing kill. Almost using the dash as a little bit of bait to find out exactly where the last man was.
Yeah, I don't mind the idea from Liquid. I think it's just one of those spots where there were so many players. Obviously, the information. It being broken. You also saw the drone being thrown in from behind. This is just utter filth, though. That's the second player that Chronicle has just domed through smoke, and it seemed like there was absolutely nothing about it. Frustration on the other side, and while Fnatic, after what was a bit of a slower start, again, just seemed to be breaking back into this one, and while Liquid are left with a low buy.
I think if you ignore Lotus, it's hard to ignore Lotus. It was such a dominant affair for Fnatic overwhelmingly.
Right, they played Lotus?
Yeah, barely. It was a pretty quick speed run, let's be honest. Game's done quick in a month or 2, guys. Calm down. But looking at how this map's going, set at 5 and 5, this is much more of that close affair that I think a good few people were hoping to see between Liquid and Fnatic. It's that rise to the occasion itself that everyone wanted to see, and now it's being delivered, albeit on the second map.
Off your feet!
Rolling Thunder sent through. They've actually put it just to try and kill off Rengar. Maybe expecting more players on the other side, and now they have to fight versus that raid boss of Durka. Alpha even holding onto the operator here. I don't see any way back into this one. And while Safe, he's been good so far, but this might be a bit much.
Yeah, you might be asking a little too much of the guy. It turns out, indeed you are. It's Alpha here with that retrieved op gets
Nats have that knowledge, and a smoke comes down before anything more happens. Either way. Slowing things down, Fnatic. Not really wanting to overface. Rotations coming up. You've got deep control out at the moment from Safe, so he's giving them the information. Okay, it's not A. They are not going in this direction. 3 players on the B side with a fast rotation available. Ults that aren't necessarily going to help them too much. Maybe the Blade Storm from Safe can, but they have definitely got a decent idea of where this is going.
It's the snowball that it can turn into that concerns me. Blade Storm on, find a single kill, straight into the ult from the Cypher as well. No! That really is what they wanted as well. That opening kill could have given so much information over with the Cypher, but it was so deep
they're going
as well
back.
that there's no real ability to make this work. And sure enough, Fnatic pulling off again one of those 30-second rotates. It's kind of become a bit of a theme of theirs so far in this series.
You should
Could
run.
head in towards this B side. That's the thing, they're going to use it as a ruse. The peek out from Redgar, he's walking straight into the trap. 17 seconds though. It's still a little bit dangerous with the time. Yumpy might actually have a chance to end this. Spikes on the deck. There's a real opportunity for Liquid. They might have just overcooked this one a little bit on the Fnatic side. They look like they had everything. And now Durka has 3 seconds to kill everyone else. Liquid steal around out of the hands of Fnatic. And we go in level at the half.
So much of that coming off on Yampy as well, just following it the whole way through, behind them, getting the flank in, ripping them apart, not falling for that ruse. Beautiful stuff to keep things dead even.
Yeah, no, an impressive display from Liquid. Like, to go into your opponent's home turf, to have some crucial clutch rounds. Even when it looked like Fnatic had that one almost dead to rights, I think the clock ended up being the real burden for them there. But going in 6-6 is not bad. And now, well, again, we're going to focus on the man safe. I'm getting ready for him going into that attack. I think he's got quite a lot to give here.
Oh, there's that, but there's also the Durka's warned up as well, as you commented on.
That's true, that is true.
But maybe we're finally getting that battle we were talking about, right? We were excited to see Durka coming up against Safe. That was the big hype story, the battle of the entries, you know, will Safe rise and join the gods upon Mount Olympus in the form of Durka? The answer has been no for the most part. I mean, now we've also seen Durka coming online again. That just kind of, again, separates those goalposts even further.
Yeah, I think as well you have to give highlight to Chronicle. Like, he's had an incredible map of just not only shutting down aggression, but also just some really high-impact multi-frags. And I don't think things are going to get any easier. That's the real problem. Like, you mentioned Durka, he is going to be that same sort of aggressive defensive player. You can expect the Operator to come in as well. And again, I'm going to be more focusing on how Liquid can have that push and pull on their own attack side. Like, how are the lurks of Nats going to work out? Because again, he is someone we've highlighted many a time as being one of the real big pickups for this Liquid side. Now, in this series so far, I'll be honest with you, he individually has been a little bit underwhelming.
All right, well, we've got a little halftime interview for you. It's Yinsu with Sliggy.
That is right. I am joined by Sliggy here, who's watch partying from the Coliseum, actually. First question, Sliggy, what's the experience like? How's the watch partying booth?
Dude, it's really, really good. It's nice in here. I didn't realize how loud the crowd is.
Yeah.
Online, I can't hear them that much. When I'm here, they're so much louder than I thought. So yeah, it's really cool to be on.
Yeah, some cool Liquid chants going on as well. Yeah, you know.
Even when it was like, even when they're getting wrecked on Lotus, like the crowd was trying to pump them up. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think Eamon has been leading the charge out there.
I spoke to him earlier. He said that he likes to get in the crowd and he likes to give it. So I respect it.
Okay. I gotta say though, you know, when it comes to Liquid versus Fnatic, no other Liquid personnel is more familiar with this team than you are. Out of the 6 times they played against each other, you were the coach for 5 of those times. What is the secret in beating Fnatic? What do Liquid need to do right now in this Haven map to win?
You're probably asking the wrong person because I lost all the important games against them. But in terms of what they need to do, I don't know. It's a lot of safe bailing them out at the moment, so that needs to keep happening. Yeah, it's togetherness.
Okay, last question. Can Liquid do it? The reverse sweep.
The reverse sweep?
Yes. Win Haven, win Fracture.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Sliggy believes in them. Let's see if they can close out Haven first as we head into the second half. Back to you, Des and Tom.
Thank you very much, Yinsu. Tom's in bits. Come on, Tom.
That was the least... Yeah. Did you... I want to know if Sliggy also did the team talks. It's like, guys, are we going to win? Yeah, we're going to win. That's it.
Coach, do you believe we can do this?
Well, that's what we should do. We should have Sliggy versus Mini on who can do the most inspirational speech. I think it might be both of them suck, but they're very good at the sort of analytical side of the game. I'll give them that.
Sometimes your players need a calm coach. I think Emery's a big hype up guy.
Ooh, well, Durka don't need hyping up. He does not need hyping up.
The man's possessed. Always just turned up to 11 and already starting to fly. Redgar's put down dangerously low as well, just sat here on 15 HP. Not the start that Liquid wanted to this half.
Yeah, I think Durka's not ready to give up his crown
commit as well.
Just yet.
Oh dear.
Low HP for Redgar. A single bullet will do the trick, or a bullet to the face. That works too. Overkill, to say the least. The spike's also up there, safe. Maybe trying to get some sort of response, but now Durka's support finally arrives if he needs it.
Please not a third is my only ask. We don't need this to go from bad to worse from Liquid to break their spirits in round 1. Instead moving their way away from sewers down long here as well, of course, forces them into a little bit of a bottleneck. that should be the read.
Such a good stun. Such a good stun. The supportive utility again from Fnatic, just setting up Boaster, leaving him in such a great spot, and they are being picked apart one by one. It's like
really need the 7 to get this one done and dusted. Basically guaranteed yourself 2 here, if not 3.
Yeah, and the terrifying thing about this one, this was mostly just Durka styling.
Yeah.
Like aggressive A push, and you even see like when Nats tries to go for his lugs, No unlucky death. Sorry, what was that?
Cast a curse.
Can we get a replay of Dez, please?
Cast a curse. Sometimes you just got to do it to them. 4 players survived the initial
I'm not
gauntlet.
yet, guys.
It's better
I
now,
just watch
though.
and learn this
If
tournament.
you're gonna get unlucky, why not have it now?
Yeah, now's the time for it, sure. Durka, oh my god, they're just padding out stats here for fun. Durka finds another 3, Leo into a 2. There we go, 8 and 6, as expected.
Maybe Safe needs to shave his head.
I think
Maybe that'll
2-0
be the
is
difference. Because they're having a good
about
game, 12 and
W
8, but
for
19
Fnatic.
and 5 for Durka. As said, he was 0 and 3.
Yes.
So since then, he has been 19 and 2. It's just filth. There is a reason that we put him as the best player, at least with the EMEA, but I think at this point we can just say the world. I don't know if there's too many arguing with that one.
They had. We've traded out the Marshall, away the pistol, all the rest of it, and have really come to this round with the intent to win and get the snowball rolling.
Good start, though. They've caught the aggression of Boaster. Smokes down, controller gone. Leo is up close here. Timing could be everything. And they're going to want to try and go for something to almost even this round back up. Now, Althea's spot might not actually be expected. When you have somebody pushing that deep within the C site, having a second player also that far forward and not instantly swinging from the trade might actually be something that's a bit of a surprise. Instead, though, Liquid just slow down. They're expecting, okay, this is more of a bonus round. Where's the aggression? Where's that second player going to come from? And while being very careful, Leo, he's not going to get caught. In fact, he's going to push!
Genius play as well, making use of the player deeper back to get rid of the Owl, not revealing Leo's position. And he goes aggressive, bringing down 2. Massive play coming out from Fnatic, and they flip this round
I
on
think
its
this is
head.
winnable for
Beautiful stuff.
Fnatic.
Yeah, at least there'll be a path now onto that B site. Redgar, we've seen this many a time, getting aggressive off the back of the Omen. All he can really do is try and slow them down a little bit. And Alpha's already on them. He's in from behind. That's a spike on the deck. They don't even realize that Redgar's on the other side, but he's got 15 seconds.
Follow them up the whole way. A little bit of a crossfire here coming through as well, off towards one side, towards A, the other. He got the right idea, but can he find the man? Yes, he can, but has to get hold of the spike.
He's done.
Fully concussed, and immediately a smoke coming over the top. This one's looking a little bit ropey. Finds one for himself, but Chronicle has already split out elsewhere. Nowhere near this engagement, and Fnatic take 3 in a row.
Yeah, just making sure that they confirm the round, and yeah, a beautiful set piece there from Fnatic. The drone looked like it was just going to clear out Leo,
Again,
with just
such
that
smart
little bit of
play.
support that comes out. A stun straight through the wall afterwards. Again, like, credit has got to be given to Chronicle and his utility. You see it in back-to-back rounds, where his stun basically just changes the way a fight is going to go.
And that felt like insurance. Because again, the play off the Owl drone being shot down by the Jet, who was further back, that was what really let Leo get the jump on them. That concuss was there if nothing else. Dare I even say, in a way, it probably not really worked against them, but would have given the indication, right, you're getting swung on now, whether you like it or not, because with that concuss coming through, they're not going to do that when the Jet is miles on back. And Liquid down 3 rounds on the bounce. They know that they've got to start turning things around, or this game is done and dusted. It's toast.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in as well. You had one player save a rifle, so there's always going to be that sort of, do we want to now try and force off this? Do we want to try and make a play off this? At least from Soulcast, it seems like they might, which I think would definitely be a risk this early on. I'd rather see them maybe just play around that rifle a little bit, get some light shields for Redgar, and then still go into the next round with a full. Especially when you're in a case as well where you don't actually have any ultimates online. If there was something that could maybe thread the needle, like you have a Hunter's Fury, a Blade Storm, something to pull this round closer together, I might be behind it. But no, instead Zolkaz's going to sell it, buy up a Spectre, and they're going to play this one as more of an eco.
Find their weakness.
Got to find a way back in at some point, boys. Whether it is that full eco, well, not really full eco, but playing it as an eco, expecting to come out as the loser in this one and just waiting for the next is one thing. Deliberating around more towards spawn side. Again, a bit of a Fnatic classic there, just dancing around and waiting to figure out exactly what the player's got to be. Looks like they're opting maybe for mid here. Straight up in towards Garage, on the doors. Alpha Year, waiting, ready to contest.
He's got utility that can play contact for him. The second the turret goes off, you'll see him spamming through the smoke, but Liquid for now are not going to play off of this. Instead, they're going to start destroying his utility elsewhere on the map, try and bait rotations, pull players into this spot. They've done just that, spotting Chronicle. In the meantime, they now look to build back up to this A site, but yeah, as you mentioned, there's probably the one player you really don't want to face right now.
Just sat there ready and waiting, daring them to march on forward. Liquid not had the best time pushing down towards sewer or even up towards long. But I think at this point, Durka realizes, okay, we know there's going to be a big push coming in here. 3 or 4 players. Leo needs to stop.
Decent stun. Safe's been given the rifle as well. This was originally on Redgar. Instead, they're going to try and give him a chance. Just a single kill.
Chronicle.
But the trade's almost immediate. And there's still multiple players here. The rest don't really have much to play with. A nice shot from Nats, but a distraction made, but not quite enough of one. Redgar's flank is spotted at the last second. Okay, 2 kills. It wasn't much of an investment for Liquid, but now this has to be it. If they don't manage to turn something here, it's looking like GG 2-0.
I mean, the problem now as well is Durka's got his ultimate online. Nothing really coming up just yet for the side of Liquid. Sure, they're close, but close doesn't quite cut it. Not going to see him change over to playing the Judge once again, as we've already seen him do previously. But I imagine that gets pulled out and we see Fnatic pull off another beautiful bit of team play. As we've seen across several rounds across this series, just 3-4 players all working in perfect harmony. Renders Liquid absolutely lost.
Early utility. There's 4 players here from Fnatic just to take this initial control. Now, there was a cam from Nats to basically spot this aggression, and because of that, they've gone right back in towards the C site. There is one man currently defending anywhere near this spot. That is Alpha,
of course.
Yeah.
I was going to say double stroke. What is that? Alpha Year! Look at the gonads on the man. 3 takes control of Garage, finds a 3rd. The support from the Hunter's Fury over the top is so required, but it absolutely is not. Alpha Year has decimated Liquid on their march forward.
They've got to give it to him. They've got to give it to him. An incredible round. 1 HP. Chronicle's going to thieve it. He's going to steal it. But I said it. There was one man. There was one man defending the C site. He wasn't even on it. He jumps through the smoke, gets 2 kills, and then gets the other 2 as they try and cross into the site. To say this man was missed is an understatement, and this is just a ridiculous play. Like, this is one that, if he dies instantly there, maybe Mini's going to be calling a pause and going, bro, what are you doing? Instead, he comes out with 4 kills, and any confidence that Liquid were building, shattered.
The thing is, we've seen, you commented on this back on Lotus as well, Fnatic have been playing this aggressive through smoke playstyle a good few times. It's not like they're playing it the way you play chess, where it's a case of holding it back. This is what I mean. They keep on wanting to get aggressive, and it's messing with Liquid because they know that they can't rely on smokes here if Fnatic are willing to come pushing on through.
Okay, Alpha goes down, but now Leo's gone pushing in. Chronicle alongside him as well. They're just blitzing back in, not even allowing an afterplant, and Nats, well, I'm pretty sure he was hoping, like, guys, okay, you get the plant, I'm going to go through Garage, I'll late luck, I'll catch them while they try and defuse. Unfortunately for Nats, everyone else is dead. He's got neural theft, though. That's a cool. I mean, you know where you get a kill and then you can be like, yeah, look, they're over there.
You started the first few words there with get a kill, and I feel that might be the problem, because he's being bullied out. Chronicle completes the 3K. Fnatic up to match and series points. The thing is, we're about to come down to a similar scoreline of 13-6, right? Same as on Lotus, but this map has felt more competitive, at least in the first half. This second half, Fnatic have not dropped a single round in the defense. So we've seen sublime attacks on Lotus, sublime defenses here on Haven.
So it's just backwards.
Exactly.
What you're saying. It's instead of getting blasted in the first half, they're getting
Blasted in the second. At least they got room to show themselves a little bit on Haven, right?
Yeah, it didn't feel as bleak because it didn't. Happen the other way around. But
it's feeling bleak now.
I
It's
will
built
say
up to that.
It's got to a point in the second half where I feel like Fnatic have almost just gone for disrespect plays. Like they're going for retakes before the spike's even down. Even if there's a man disadvantage or multiple men disadvantage in the case of Alpha, yeah, I think they've just realized that, okay, we can just take massive risks and still pull off these rounds, and the absurdity of the individual ability of this roster is off the charts. 6 rounds in a row needed for Liquid. As you mentioned, so far in this half, they've got 0. If they manage to pull that off, all respect to them, but I have to say, and I don't think it's a particularly bold prediction, this is looking dumb.
And they've got to do it in a broke round 2. They've got ults online, but no guns.
Yeah.
This is going to be their battle.
It's definitely possible. Like, especially with everything they've got online, I think it's fair enough to say they could go for some ult spam. Looking like they're building up for some early C aggression, but the thing is, with how aggressive Fnatic has been, you almost have to play in a default. You can't just let them take all of the map control. And again, they're building up for some early space towards this A site. I think that might have been, was that an instant pop? Yeah, from Safe. He's going to be pulling out the Blade Storm.
Dirk has got the ability to do exactly the same. Not forgetting we have Alpha Year's ultimate available. With that on side, if we see a lot of aggression coming in, you drop that ult down suddenly. I mean, now will be a pretty good time as they all come rotating on over.
By his own teammate's ult. Probably not the start they were looking for, but as you said, it's a retake being played.
Now, where does it go? This is the question. Soulcast is in such a pivotal spot here. He could be the one to shut this down to make it work, but Dirk has already found onto 2. Fnatic finding 2 of the main kills they really needed here to get this one moving. Leo is like, again, shooting clay pigeons, shuts down 2, none left standing, and Fnatic take a 2-0 over Team Liquid.
Yeah, they gave us some hope in the first half, Liquid, but ultimately they are not ready to fight versus
the
Kings
us in the
just
first
yet.
half, not gonna lie.
It has been proven once again that this Fnatic team is one to fear. And the fact is, the second Alpha has come back into this roster. I don't care what you say. Oh, he's had 1 day practice. He's had 7 days practice. He's had 8. They have barely looked close to losing a map since he re-entered this roster. And also, no offense to Kamek, he did an incredible job. He was a great 6th man to come
Thank
in
you so
for a
much
week.
everyone
The
for
fact is,
watching my
this is the team we've come to see.
Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you guys.